If you think you need the gym to be perfect to work, you're already doing it wrong. I'm Mario, I game and I train, and here's what actually matters. Alright, so when we're talking about progress in the gym, we have the three pillars. The three pillars, alright? We got training, we got sleep, and we also have nutrition, okay? Think of these as armor pieces, okay? Let's say you would be playing a ARPG or a RPG, okay? When you go to battle, you always have a chest plate. You always have a helmet. You always have some shoes, alright? But why is that? So you're tanky, so you can survive damage. But you also need a plan. You also need a sword, alright? Without a sword, you cannot farm experience, you cannot get gold to get better equipment. So you need everything. You need some armor, and you also need a decent sword, alright? So think of the gym as the same, alright? So you have sleeping 8 hours a day, you have getting a good diet, right? Either cutting, bulking, or maintaining, depending on what's your goal. And you also need a program, right? But that doesn't mean you need to have perfect everything to work, all right? That doesn't mean nothing. If you want to have a shinier sword and have the perfect program in the world, okay, but you're lacking armor, I'm sorry, but you won't be farming efficiently, all right? Let's say you have the best rings or the best amulets. You have the best supplements, the most efficient. You got creatine, you got fish oil, you got a multivitamin, but you don't train. How do you expect to get results if you don't train? Hmm? How do you expect to get results if you're not sleeping enough every single day? You know what I mean? It's just, you need the basics down, all right? When you're thinking of fighting the dragon and defeating him, you need a good sword, but you also need really good armor. Because otherwise, you'll get one shot. And that's not fun at all, you know? Who likes that? Who likes going to a boss fight and then you just, poof, you fall over. And yeah, the big red text appears on the screen. You died. Yeah, that's not nice. How do we avoid that? By actually having a good base. All right, so when it comes to the gym, you need to have a chest plate. You also need to have an armor. You need, a helmet. You need some shoes. You also need some good gloves. You need some iron gloves. But you also need a sword. Why do you need a sword? So you actually know what you're doing. So when you go fight the dragon and you're fighting minions, you can get experience without losing. That's why this is the most important thing when it comes to going to the gym, okay? Consistency, okay? If you sit in one spot and you hit the same minion over and over and over and over and over again, you eventually will drop a good item. Or you will have enough money to buy a good item. And then you can go farm at a higher level. What does that mean in real life? Let's say you would do bicep curls, okay? You would start off with the 4 kg dumbbells. You do a bicep curl, bicep curl, bicep curl. You do this for like 2 weeks. Next workout, you're like, this is easy. Boom. You go to 6. All right? Hear me out. This is where you make progress. When you have been consistently going to the gym. If you have been consistently going to the gym, you can make progress so easily. It's unbelievable, especially as a beginner. All right? As a beginner, if you start going to the gym and you get consistent, you sleep enough, you train hard enough, okay, hard enough, you have a decent diet, you make so much progress. You make 80% of the progress just by doing that. Now, you can also get good supplements. All right, you can also maximize your sleep, your nutrition, you can maximize your training, optimize it all, get the best exercises tier list, but at the end of the day, the most important stuff is showing up and being consistent. All right. I apologize for that one. Now, that's the only thing that matters, being consistent. I can tell you for a certain that that is the only thing that matters. if you show up or not. Excuse me for that one as well. If you don't show up to the gym, not every single day, at least one time a week, okay? Make a pact with yourself and promise yourself that you will actually stick to the gym for once, and you will go to the gym at least one time a week. You will see absolutely magnificent progress just by doing that, just by going for one time a week, okay? I promise to you. All right? Okay? Make a promise to yourself that you will at least go to the gym one time a week. I promise you, your life will be completely changed and you will get 80% of the results of going to the gym, okay? You get 80% of the muscle growth, of the cardiovascular health, of overall health, and you will also look a lot better. Trust you on that one. Alright, so that was the whole video. Thank you so much for watching. If you need help with this, there's a link in the description to my Instagram. You can DM me there and I will help you. I promise to you. Alright? Thank you so much for watching the video, everybody. I hope you found this helpful. And don't forget to have a wonderful day. Kiss you. Bye bye.